Hi, so these are my bipolar videos, and I've just done one about mindfulness, and this one is specifically about Kundalini. And some people think of Kundalini Yoga or Kundalini energy or a Kundalini experience, and I don't know totally if I had a Kundalini experience, but I'm going to talk about what happened to me and relate it to the Kundalini that I do know and what I've seen. Because for some of you might find this interesting. So when I was starting to go back up north in the car on basically going back home from this camping trip, and things were going manic, psychotic, crazy, there was a point when the roads were getting really winding and it was really hot and I felt like I couldn't breathe enough and I felt quite sick. And everything was just going all over the place, and I just said, Robin, can you stop the car? I really need to get out and just breathe some fresh air. So got out and I found this kind of concrete flower bed type basin thing by the side of the road, and there was a few kind of dried plants and shrubs and things in it. And I had to squat behind it to kind of get in the shade where I needed to be cooler, just to kind of cool down from the heat. So I did that, and then when I squatted down, I kind of took some deep breaths. I had this really weird sensation that I could feel this energy from the base of my spine, literally travelling up my spine. I literally felt it move up my spine. And then it went up the back of my neck and into my head, and then it kind of felt like it got stuck in my head and it couldn't move any further. So what I did is I went like this with my hands, and I just kind of squeezed my head, and I took a deep breath, and I kind of held my breath, and I kind of pushed really hard. And when I pushed really hard, the energy went, and it kind of shot out the top of my head, and that's how it felt. It felt like it came out the top of my head. And it was like a release. I didn't know what it was at the time. I wasn't analysing it in any way, shape or form. It was just a physical sensation. I was like, oh, that's better. So I stood up, and I remember kind of half smiling to myself, because I was like, cool, I did that. I feel better now. Oh, that's nice. Now I can go home now. Let's get back in the car and carry on with this journey. And I sat down, and I don't really know what happened next. We carried on driving, but I got home and I did some research into Kundalini Yoga, because other people were saying that people with bipolar quite often can have these Kundalini experiences, or you can have a really fast Kundalini experience that shoots up really fast and damages you. So there are all these kind of scare films that I was watching on YouTube, and I was like, oh my god. And I actually got in touch with this guy in America, Florida, who I can't remember the name of now, but he was a specialist in Kundalini Yoga, and people would go to him, to his kind of school, and would go there on purpose to experience Kundalini and for it to rise slowly and healthily, and to give you energy and vitality, and you know, it's a form of yoga. But he kind of did Tantra yoga and all sorts of different aspects, from China, from Japan, all these different things, and Qigong and everything. He brought it all together, and he really sounded like he knew what he was talking about, and I thought, I've got to speak to this guy. So there was this kind of Skype chat that I was able to organise with him for 15 minutes, and he basically just reassured me that even if it were to happen again, you know, it would be okay, I wouldn't really harm myself, because when I thought in retrospect of what had happened, I thought maybe possibly it might have gotten, that's really bad English, but it might have gotten me to be more manic or more psychotic or higher quicker because of that experience. But saying that I couldn't have stopped what was happening, like for me that felt like the most natural thing to do was to go and squat in that shade and to kind of release whatever was needing to be released. And you know, that's just how it happened. For me, I didn't know anything about Kundalini Yoga, even though I knew about yoga and different forms of yoga. I didn't know much about it. I knew something about this kind of snake coiling up at the base of my spine, but I didn't think that it was going to be anything that could be damaging or dangerous for me. So anyway, this kind of goes on slightly to do with, you know, sexual experiences or making love. I don't like using the word sex really, because for me I'm in a long-term relationship with my husband, and for me it is making love. And I think probably I'll do a separate video on that, because so that Kundalini experience and making love was happening to me quite easily after my episode. Even though I was on my medication, I would feel the energy rise. But anyway, I'll go into that in a different video because that's quite detailed. Yeah, so I would say that now that I'm healed, I still take medication, but I don't have any kind of effects from having had my 2 episodes. I'm totally stable. I don't ever get the feeling now of that energy climbing up my spine. Not in a way that I feel is out of, what's the word? Not in an out of control way. Not in a way that's too fast or something, or like, oh, where's it going? Like, I wouldn't be worried about it in any way, shape or form, because sometimes with the yoga things that I do, I feel tingling up my spine and it's all really nice and warm and yummy, and I might feel energetic within the spine area, but I wouldn't feel like, oh, there's this thing rising up me and it's really intense and strong. So that's different now. It's a much more kind of, bit more of a general yumminess and an energy feeling. So yeah, I think I've conquered that part of Kundalini energy, or, you know, it's not a negative thing that could harm me. Yeah, so anyway, if that was interesting and you want to hear more, then click the subscribe button and press the like button, and I'll see you on my next video.